In progress.
Hello! Mabuhay! This is Teacher Lourdes, and this is your course, Methods of Research. Our lesson 7 is Developing the Research Methodology. Our objectives are discuss the principles in crafting the research methodology and cite examples for each part of the research methodology. Your activity is the same as the lesson 6 because this lesson is an addendum to lesson 6. You will prepare a brief research proposal applying the principles learned in crafting the introduction and methodology. Let's play jumbled letters. You can pause this video and write your answers in the comment section. Did you get the right answers? Participants, methods, and instrument. Now let's have the lesson proper. The first step in the methodology is creating the method or the design of your study. A sound research design shapes how you answer your questions. It guides whether you use quantitative, qualitative, or mixed methods, and whether your study is experimental, correlational, descriptive, and others. McCombs and Bandari in 2025 note that design determines which data collection and analysis techniques are appropriate and feasible. For example, uh, if you choose experimental or quasi-experimental, experimental is when you have a control group and an experimental group. Quasi-experimental is when you have more than two groups to study and you have also the control group. And descriptive or correlational, you will choose based on the research aims or the objectives of your study. So quantitative refers to study wherein you have to measure and you have to use numbers. Qualitative design is there is no numbers involved, there is no computation involved. Okay, just like my study in Bamboo Fiber Scoping Review, it's a qualitative study, so I did not compute anything in my study. Mixed methods is it's a combination of quantitative and qualitative. So after you solve the mathematical equations, you will also discuss and explain the results of your data gathering and your experiment. So this is a sample study for the for this lesson entitled Design, Development, and Evaluation of a Solar-Powered Portable Charging Station for Mobile Devices. Okay, so this is the sample method or design. This study employed a research and development R&D design based on the simplified R&D model of Borg and Gall in 2023, which includes the following phases. The first one is the planning, which needs assessment and conceptualization. And the second part is the development or the design and prototyping. And the third one is the validation and evaluation, wherein you will ask the experts and the users to test your product. This design is suitable for studies aiming to create, test, and improve technological products through systematic engineering and feedback-driven refinement. That's according to Borg and Proud in 2003. So now let's have the second step, the research environment. The environment includes context, sampling frame, researcher role, and ethical safeguards. Blau and Geringer in 2012 emphasized the significance of researchers recognizing their instrumental role and contextual influences. San Jose State University Writing Center in 2021 recommends detailing whether the setting is in lab, field-based, or archival, along with how privacy and ethical protocols were handled. So, research environment is your statement of uh, the context, the sampling frame, and researcher role, and the ethical safeguards. So, for the example that we have given, it's about the study was conducted at the Electronics Technology Laboratory of XYZ College of Industrial Technology, where students had access to photovoltaic modules, soldering tools, DC-DC converters, lithium-ion batteries, microcontrollers or Arduino, and digital testing equipment. The laboratory was ideal for the development, assembly, and initial testing of the prototype, while final testing was conducted outdoors under actual sunlight to simulate real-world usage. So this is the research environment for our sample study. And the third is the respondents or the participants. So you will describe the respondents and which might involve demographic details, inclusion and exclusion criteria, those that you will include and not include in your study, and the sampling procedures. Sampling, it's either you will choose purposive sampling, where you have to choose the respondents, or random sampling, wherein there are respondents from all the categories of the respondents, and the sample size or power. So you will decide the number of uh, respondents. That is the sample size and the power. Scriber in 2021 advises stating participant characteristics like age, then gender, education, sampling method, and recruitment process, and also include sample size and statistical power considerations. So your respondents will depend on your statement of the problem or the objectives. So sometimes the details of the respondents is not included in the aims or the objectives of the lesson. But there are studies that you should discuss and graph the age, gender, and education of your participants or respondents. So in our sample study, this is the participants or the respondents. Two sets of per respondents were involved. Expert validators, n equals 5, meaning there are 5 expert validators. They are licensed electronics engineers and faculty members with at least 5 years of experience in renewable energy and embedded systems, were purposefully selected to validate the design using a structured evaluation form. And then your next target users are the selected third year electronics technology students who will assess the product's usability, portability, safety, and efficiency after a guided demonstration. So, your second set of respondents are your classmates. For example, in the electronics technology class, and there are 15 respondents. So now let's go to number 4, the data gathering procedure. The procedure referred to who did what, when, where, and how. So the key steps include administration protocol, some standardization, and operational processes. Blau and Geringer in 2012 described planning, timing, roles, and sequence of data collection. Very Well Mind in 2006 suggests detailing sequence of events to allow replication. So it's important that your study can be replicated. Okay, so this is a sample data gathering procedure for our sample study about development of solar powered charging station for mobile devices. So the planning phase, the students will conduct a needs assessment using interview with electronics students and faculty to identify the gap in portable off-grid charging systems, and then they will define the technical specifications, for example, the output voltage, the charging time, and the supported devices. The second phase is the development phase. The researchers will assemble the system using solar panels, charge controllers, batteries, USB ports, and voltage regulators. And they will conduct iterative prototyping and debugging. So the third phase is the validation and evaluation phase, wherein the students will distribute evaluation forms to expert validators using the DepEd Technology Product Evaluation Tool, for example, or the CHED evaluation tool for products of technology. And then demonstrate the device to student users and gather usability feedback. So that's the three phases of your product development. And all the activities were documented using photo, logs, checklist, and testing records. So that's an example for our data gathering process. So of course, you will need the data gathering instruments. So instrumentation covers surveys, tests, checklists, interviews, and others. Instruments must be described in format, validity, and reliability. Columbia University defines instruments as tools to measure and analyze data, for example, interviews, checklists, surveys. Okay, so, and iterators in 2024 notes instruments' goal is systematic, accurate data collection, and the survey methodology research also emphasizes constructing the questions that yield valid, reliable data. And there are closed versus open-ended scales used. Okay, so this is an example of a data gathering instruments, expert validation checklist based on the DepEd Learning Resource Evaluation Form or the CHED Learning Resource Evaluation Form. It is modified to include technical criteria like efficiency, circuit safety, portability, and innovation. It uses a 5-point Likert scale, and 1 is very poor, and 5 to number 5, which is excellent. And another data gathering instrument is the user evaluation form, which is focused on ease of use, design, portability, and perceived usefulness. And the next one is the testing log sheet. The researchers will record the technical data during sunlight test. Using this testing log sheet, it contains the voltage output, the current levels, the charge duration, and the device temperature. Both instruments were pre-tested for clarity and reliability. Okay, and the next is the statistical treatment. This is where you analyze and evaluate your data. So statistical treatment includes specifying the techniques for analyzing your data, descriptive statistics, inferential test, model selection, assumption checking, effect sizes, and others. McCombs and Bandari underscore that your analytical strategy must match your research design and data type. Additionally, ecology method guidance highlights using models aligned with data structure, emphasizing effect sizes, reproducibility, and detailed reporting. So, as an example of our sample study about the development of charging device for mobile. So the objective is assess expert ratings. You will use the mean and standard deviation in your statistical tool. Mean is the average, and standard deviation has a specific formula. And you can also use online statistical tools which are readily available for everyone. And assess user evaluation scores. You will also have the mean or the average and the descriptive stats. So this descriptive stats will be coming from your Likert scale, and determine level of acceptability of product. So when you determine the level of acceptability, you will also have specific questions developed which answers your objectives, and they are developed especially for the respondents. So the next is to determine the level of acceptability, you will use the weighted mean and qualitative interpretation. So you will discuss the results of the weighted mean. A descriptive statistics were used to summarize and interpret the validation and evaluation results. From the word descriptive or describe, you will analyze and discuss the results of your study or data gathering, and then you will interpret the results, and you will also validate and evaluate. And a weighted mean determine the overall acceptability rating. There is a formula to compute for the weighted mean. You can always search online. And feedback from open-ended responses was subjected to thematic analysis to guide prototype revision. So this is the summary of our discussion. For your method or design, the inclusions are the goals, the type, quantitative or qualitative. So you will choose or mix study, or the strategy and the alignment with research question. The next is the environment. This is the setting or where you will conduct your study, the researcher role, the ethics, and contextual factors. If there are ethical standards you need to follow, for example, you will need to dissect animals in case of biology students. And then the number 3 is the respondents. So you must have the demographics depending upon your uh, questions or your objectives, and the inclusion, exclusion, sampling size, and power. And the fourth one is the procedure. This is the step-by-step flow. You will list down what you will do as a researcher, and the roles, the sequence, and the standardization, and the replicability. And the next one is the instruments. You will need to have the type, the format, the validity, the reliability, and the question types, which can be open or closed with have scales. And the last one is a statistical treatment. These are the statistical techniques, model assumptions, effect sizes, and the reproducibility or the reporting. So let's discuss the Likert scale. A Likert scale is a psychometric scale commonly used in questionnaires to measure opinions, attitudes, or behaviors. It presents respondents with a series of statements and asks them to indicate their level of agreement or disagreement, typically on a scale of 1 to 5 or 1 to 7. But most studies I have read are using the scale of 1 to 5, uh, 5 being the highest. And the interpretation of these responses depends on the scale structure and specific research question. So in analyzing the responses, for each statement, you can calculate descriptive statistics like the mean, the median, and the mode to understand the central tendency of responses. So the mean is the average. The median are the when you have similar data. For example, uh, in your 10 respondents, there are 5 uh, who have similar answers. So that's the median and the mode. Okay, so you can also calculate standard deviations to understand the spread or variability of respondents. So the standard deviation, you can search that on Google or in YouTube. And for the sum scores, if multiple Likert types questions are used to measure a single construct, you can sum the scores of these individual questions to create a composite score for each respondent. This composite score can be used to compare individuals or groups. Okay, so and this is the group comparisons. You can compare the responses of different groups by calculating the mean scores and using statistical tests. And the qualitative interpretation, you will consider the context of the question and the specific verbal anchors used when interpreting the results. For example, a mean score of 4 on a 5-point scale where 1 is strongly disagree and 5 is strongly agree might indicate an overall agreement with a statement, but the specific wording of the anchors should also be considered. So this is a sample type of Likert scale. So as you can see here, okay, you have questions in your survey questions or your checklist. So if the respondents mostly answer 5, or they are very likely extremely satisfied, excellent, very often, and essential. So it means that most of them strongly agree with your statement. For example, your first statement is the developed charging port or device is efficient. Okay, so uh, your respondents will choose 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. They will put their score. And if they agree, or they will or likely agree and satisfied above average and often and very important. So if they put number 3, this is the meaning. If they put number 2, this, and then afterwards you have all the answers or the numbers, the numeric answers to your survey questions. You will analyze your gathered data. Okay, so if many or most of the respondents answered 4 or 5, it reflects that they agree with the statements. And if they are here in the strongly disagree, it means that uh, they do not agree with the statement. Okay? So before I have this online resources, may I also show you uh, the the methodology of my bamboo fiber uh, utilization in medicine and clothing, a scoping review, so that I can also share my work to you. So as you can see, the materials and methods part, the research takes an exploratory approach. Let's make the text bigger. The research takes an exploratory approach using qualitative methods. So as I have mentioned, I did not use quantitative, just quali, because I did not use numerical computations. To categorize and interpret the current state of the art, the starting point is an extensive analysis of the existing studies and literature and material selection through an integrative literature. Okay, that's how you write your beginning of the methods. You will state what methods you have used. Okay, and then we will continue in explaining your study, the study which focuses on conducting a scoping review of literature on the use of bamboo fiber in medicine and clothing, uses the 5 stages of the research process. So to illustrate, diagram in the next page is used. So in my scoping review, I use the research process by ARCSI and O'Malley framework in 2005. So the step 1 is because my study is a scoping review, so I follow this framework. First one is to specify the research question and then identify the relevant literature, and then I selected the studies, and then I extract, map, and chart the data. And the final step is I summarize, synthesize, and report the results. Okay. In your study, you must have a framework in your conceptual framework, and that will discuss your concepts to be used in your study. So this study made use of scoping review. Okay, so I explain here how scoping review is conducted according to the resources. So this method, so I also explain this, explain the scoping review, and then yeah. So okay, as the scoping review method maps the existing literature and identify the key concepts. Okay, so I identify the research questions, the objectives, and I search for the relevant studies, the study selection, data extraction, and data synthesis, and finally reporting. So I already presented this in the conference, and I won Best Full Research. Praise the Lord. Okay, and thank you, Lord. So this is the study selection. And okay, so I indicate whether studies will to be included or excluded. And the data sources. The data were extracted from documents sourced from Google Scholar, PubMed, and Scopus, focusing on bamboo fibers properties and applications. So that's my study about bamboo fiber utilization in medicine and clothing, a scoping review. So I hope you learned about our lesson today, and I hope that you uh, conduct and you work together, you collaborate as a group so that you can submit your output on time. So these are my online sources. Thank you so much for these sources. And special thanks to ChatGPT, Zoom.com, and Canva.com, and all these resources. Thank you so much. And for your student activity, this is the same as the lesson 6. You have the researchers challenge wherein you will collaborate with 6, 7, or 8 members of your group. and you will create 3 research titles or problems with a conceptual paradigm and conceptual framework. And you will put your step-by-step process, your basic research methodology for each of the 3 titles. And your group will present this output to the panel members as your midterm project. Only one research title will be approved by the panel. So, hello everyone. I hope that you learned the lesson here in our YouTube channel, Teacher Lourdes. So, mabuhay. Thank you.